Has someone been more?
And the winner is Natalie Cole. Lady, all right.
Those that are thinking of getting into it, I would say that it's a foolish thing to do, because the bottom line is you don't know if you're one of those ones that won't be able to stop.
Natalie Cole passed away 9 years ago. Recently, her family confirmed some rumors about her life and death. What really happened to Natalie? What happened to her family after she passed away?
I had people who loved me and who were able to say, you know, they just couldn't take it anymore. They said, Natalie, please, you know, do something.
Why did they keep quiet for so long? Let's take a closer look at her life and the new details that her family has shared.
Incredible singer. She carries something in those genes that's just special.
Music was her birthright. As the daughter of a famous and well-known legendary singer, Natalie Cole was bound to follow in the footsteps of her father. Born in Los Angeles on February 6, 1950, to musical parents Nat King Cole and singer Maria Cole. Natalie was the oldest of 5 children. Natalie liked to joke about her family, calling them the Black Kennedys. They were well known and had a lot of musical talent around them. Growing up, she heard many great jazz, soul, and blues singers. At a young age, Natalie was already part of music. She sang on her father's Christmas album called The Magic of Christmas when she was just 11 years old.
It's hard now. I lost him when I was so young. And I have to remember moments that we shared together. That's how I keep the memory going.
Natalie had a big family. She had an older adopted sister named Carole "Cookie" Cole. Cookie was actually the daughter of Natalie's mother's younger sister. Natalie also had an adopted brother named Nat Kelly Cole. To make things more interesting, she had twin sisters, Timolin and Casey. Through her mom, Natalie was related to Charlotte Hawkins Brown, a famous educator. Plus, her uncle, Freddie Cole, was a talented singer and pianist with many albums and awards. Natalie's childhood was not always easy. When her father died of cancer at the age of 45, Cole was just 15 years old. After that, things became difficult between her and her mother. Later on, she focused on studying child psychology and graduated in 1972 with a degree.
In every way.
Natalie entered the music scene with great success. At first, people loved her music, and she won 3 Grammy Awards. She released 6 albums that went gold or platinum. But even with all her success, she faced a lot of criticism. Many people compared her to Aretha Franklin, saying she sounded like her, but was not as good. Others thought she was out of style since disco music was becoming popular. The media suggested that Natalie might take the Queen of Soul title away from Aretha. In 1976, Natalie won the Grammy for Best R&B Female Vocal Performance, breaking Aretha's 8-year winning streak.
And the winner is Natalie Cole. Lady, all right.
This made the rivalry even more intense. Natalie's first meeting with Aretha did not go well. At an industry banquet, Natalie approached Aretha, but Aretha gave her an icy stare and turned away. Natalie was hurt by this encounter and said it took her weeks to recover. She admired Aretha and couldn't understand why Aretha seemed to be against her. In her words, "I give her the highest respect then, now, and always." On her part, Aretha was not happy about the constant comparisons. In a 1977 interview, she said, "It's easy for a singer to sometimes pick up on another singer's sound, but that's just copying. It's really a compliment that she sounds like me." Aretha felt she had worked hard for her success and believed that no one could take that away from her.
I used to go to Rick James' house, and I used to go to Natalie Cole's house.
And that was
that's
that.
how I did it. I was very undercover.
Natalie's talent was sometimes overshadowed by the fact that people saw her mainly as Nat King Cole's daughter. This put a lot of pressure on her, and she felt like she had to prove herself. Despite all her achievements, she struggled to find her place in the music world. Sadly, the pressure of fame and the music industry led her down a dark path.
Those that are thinking of getting into it, I would say that it's a foolish thing to do, because the bottom line is you don't know if you're one of those ones that won't be able to stop.
In the late 70s, Natalie fell into the dangerous world of drugs. She got caught up in the heroin and cocaine culture of Los Angeles. In her memoir, Angel on My Shoulder, she wrote about this experience, saying it was as easy to access as snacks. This addiction caused her many problems. At one point, she even worked as a prostitute's tout to pay for her drugs. This was a dark time in her life. Natalie's problems with drugs began when she was a student. She started using drugs for fun, but soon found herself in serious trouble. She was arrested in Canada for having heroin. This was just the beginning of her fight with addiction.
So I had people who loved me and who were able to say, they just couldn't take it anymore. They said, Natalie, please, do something.
As her drug use grew worse, her life started to spiral out of control. There was a frightening moment when she wouldn't leave a burning building, showing just how deep her addiction had taken hold. Another scary incident happened when her young son, Robert, almost drowned in their family swimming pool while she was on a drug binge. Thankfully, some people who worked for her saved him. She lost 2 recording contracts and even went through a difficult first marriage. During this tough time, she almost lost her voice. These moments were tough for Natalie and showed how addiction affected not only her, but also her loved ones. After years of battling her addiction, Natalie made the brave choice to enter rehab. It was a difficult decision, but she knew she needed help. Getting clean was a long journey, but she was determined to turn her life around. She worked hard to get clean and stay sober. However, getting sober didn't mean she played it safe in her career. Natalie still took risks with her music. She wanted to show everyone that she could create her own sound and be successful on her own terms. She wanted to be seen for who she truly was, not just as her father's daughter. After leaving rehab, Natalie signed with a new record label called Modern Records, releasing her next album, Dangerous. Though this album wasn't a big hit, it marked the start of a slow comeback for Natalie. A few years later, Natalie signed with EMI Manhattan Records and released Everlasting, the album that finally put her back on top. This time she had several hit singles like Jumpstart, I Live for Your Love, and her fun, danceable cover of Bruce Springsteen's Pink Cadillac. These songs were loved by fans and they helped Everlasting reach 1 million sales, making it Natalie's first platinum album in a decade. Following Everlasting, Natalie released Good to Be Back. The album's single, Miss You Like Crazy, became a big hit, reaching number 7 on the US charts and number 2 in the UK. Although the album didn't reach gold certification in the US, it was a huge success in the UK, where it became her only top 10 album. Natalie's biggest success came in 1991 with her album Unforgettable, with Love, released by Elektra Records. In this album, Natalie did something she had always resisted. She sang songs made famous by her father. She even created a duet with her father's voice on the song Unforgettable. This album was incredibly special, as it allowed Natalie to connect with her father's legacy in a new way. The album was a huge hit, selling over 7 million copies in the US alone and winning several Grammy Awards, including Album of the Year and Record of the Year.
Has someone been more?
After Unforgettable with Love, Natalie continued to release more albums. She recorded Take a Look, an album of jazz songs, including a version of Aretha Franklin's song, Take a Look. This album went gold, and that same year she released a holiday album called Holly and Ivy, which also became a gold record. She also released Stardust, another album of classic songs, including a duet with her father's voice on When I Fall in Love. This album went platinum and earned Natalie another Grammy for Best Pop Collaboration with Vocals. Natalie received an honorary doctorate of music from the Berklee College of Music, honoring her musical achievements and influence.
Seem to cool in the warmth of the sun.
Natalie returned to her 80s music style with Snowfall on the Sahara and a holiday album, The Magic of Christmas, which she recorded with the London Symphony Orchestra. She released a compilation album called Greatest Hits, Volume 1. This marked the end of her contract with Elektra Records, and her catalog of songs from Elektra and EMI Manhattan were later sold to Concord Music Group. Natalie signed with Verve Records, where she released Ask a Woman Who Knows, another jazz album. Then in 2006, she released Leavin', an album featuring pop, rock, and R&B songs. Her version of Aretha Franklin's song Daydreaming became a minor hit.
And the winner is Natalie Cole. Lady, all right.
Natalie's comeback was impressive. She experimented with different musical styles. She found success with her father's classic songs. While making the album, Cole told the Associated Press she had to throw out every R&B lick that I had ever learned and every pop trick I had ever learned. With him, the music was in the background and the voice was in the front. I didn't shed any real tears until the album was over, Cole said. Then I cried a whole lot. When we started the project, it was a way of reconnecting with my dad. Then when we did the last song, I had to say goodbye again.
Seem to cool in the warmth of the sun.
That was really my thank you, she told People magazine in 2006. I owed that to him. It felt like a victory not just for Natalie, but also for her father's legacy.
I can still remember your dad when he was, before he said Nat King Cole or Nat Cole. And I said, Vince, what, listening to you is like, it's going back a little bit.
Wow, thank you.
You've got a lot of his talent.
Thank you
Super
very much.
She gracefully grew into her own, said Kashif, the singer, songwriter, musician, and producer, who created hits for everyone, from Whitney Houston to Dionne Warwick. I fully understand her trying to distance herself from her father and have her own spotlight, but in a sense that's denying her pedigree and not allowing her to fully grow into the talent that she could be just by osmosis. Once she embraced it, I think there was a healing that happened for her, Kashif added. I was thrilled when she did the Unforgettable album, because you can't run from who you really are. However, with great success sometimes comes criticism. Many people were surprised that an album of older songs could be so popular, especially in a time when rock and hip-hop were rising. How could songs from decades ago compete with the fresh sounds of artists like Nirvana and NWA? Some critics thought it was strange that this album could win awards in such a different musical era. They felt that it didn't match the current trends because of the success of Unforgettable. With Love, the rules for the Grammy Awards changed. The voting process was updated, creating what some called a Grammy Electoral College. This change was designed to give younger voters more say in the awards, reducing the influence of older voters who might prefer classic music. This shift reflected the changing tastes in music and how the industry was evolving. One of the more humorous responses to Natalie's success came from a Saturday Night Live skit. In this skit, a character named Cole, played by Ellen Cleghorn, sang duets with famous singers who had passed away, like Judy Garland and Mama Cass. This skit, titled Unforgivable, poked fun at the idea of performing with artists who were no longer around. While it was meant to be funny, it also highlighted the strange mix of old and new music in the industry.
She swept the Grammys with her unforgettable album, Unforgettable. Now she returns with a new album, Unforgivable. Natalie Cole sings with all her dad's dead old friends.
Natalie's personal life had many ups and downs. Natalie married Marvin Yancey. He was a talented songwriter and part of the R&B group The Independents. They tied the knot in Chicago and welcomed their son, Robert Adam Robbie Yancey, in 1977. Robbie grew up to be a musician too, and even toured with his mother. Marvin was not just her husband, he was also her music producer and a Baptist minister. He played a big role in helping Natalie reconnect with her faith. Under his guidance, she shifted from being a lapsed Episcopalian to a devoted Baptist. However, the marriage faced challenges, and Natalie and Marvin divorced in 1980. Tragically, Marvin passed away from a heart attack at just 34 years old. This loss was very hard for Natalie, but she continued to focus on her music and her son. After some years, Natalie found love again. She married Andre Fisher, who was a record producer and had played drums for the band Rufus. Unfortunately, this marriage also ended in divorce in 1995. Natalie then married Bishop Kenneth Dupree. This relationship lasted a few years, ending in 2004. Beyond her personal relationships, Natalie was also passionate about helping others. She supported the Afghan World Foundation, which focuses on helping people in need in Afghanistan. She worked with Sonia Nasseri Cole, who is not related to her, but shared a commitment to making a difference. Natalie Cole's personal life was full of joy and sorrow. Through it all, her love for her family and her dedication to her music kept her going.
Last month, singer Natalie Cole performed here on The Early Show. She was not well, but shortly after she found out her life was actually in danger.
Cole faced a serious health challenge when she announced that she had hepatitis C. This disease affects the liver and is spread through contact with infected blood. Natalie said that her past use of intravenous drugs led to her getting this disease. She revealed that the virus had been in her body for 25 years. She warned that people using drugs, especially with needles, could also get hepatitis C.
When Natalie Cole performed on The Early Show in September, she already knew she was infected with hepatitis C, the result of her admitted drug use years before.
After starting treatment for hepatitis C, Natalie experienced kidney failure. This was a tough time for her. She needed dialysis, a process to help clean her blood, 3 times a week for 9 months. In May 2009, after appearing on The Larry King Show to talk about her need for a kidney, she received a call from an organ donation agency called One Legacy. A family had chosen to donate a kidney if there was a match, and fortunately, there was. This generous act gave Natalie a new chance at life. Despite her strong spirit, Natalie's health continued to decline. In December 2015, she had to cancel several events because she was not feeling well. Her last performance was a brief show in Manila. Sadly, Natalie passed away on December 31, 2015, at the age of 65. Her family said she died from congestive heart failure, which was linked to a condition called idiopathic pulmonary arterial hypertension, something she developed after her kidney transplant. Natalie Cole's family shared their grief in a statement, saying she fought bravely and lived with dignity and strength. They said they would always remember her with love. So many celebrities were surprised at the news of her death. During an interview, Kashif said that he was initially in disbelief when he heard of Cole's death, and that he checked to make sure that the news was indeed true. "It was a sad moment," he said. "It put a damper on my day because I felt that we had lost another hero and another enormous talent. She had a great impact on young female singers," Kashif said. "Possibly as great, but in a different way, as Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, Dionne Warwick, or Chaka Khan. She has her own place," he explained. "She's very unique in her own right. She straddled 2 genres and really did it gracefully, R&B and jazz." Her funeral took place on January 11, 2016, at the West Angeles Church of God in Christ in Los Angeles. Many famous musicians, including David Foster, Stevie Wonder, and Smokey Robinson, came to honor her. After the funeral, Natalie was laid to rest at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in Glendale, California. In her will, Natalie made clear who would inherit her assets, which were worth about $1.3 million. She named family and close friends as beneficiaries. While the specific amounts each person would receive were not shared, her son Robert likely got the largest share, as he was named the main beneficiary. He had about $500,000 in assets 2 years after his mother passed. Sadly, in 2017, when her son Robbie died of a heart attack at the young age of 39. Natalie's twin sisters, Timolin and Casey Cole, and her cousin Pamela Harris, were also mentioned in her will. 2 of her friends, Benita Hill and Tamara Engelstein, who supported her during her tough times with addiction, received gifts in recognition of their friendship. A few months after her death, in February 2016, Natalie Cole's family shared their feelings about the tribute she received at the Grammy Awards. They were upset, saying it was disrespectful. Natalie Cole died on December 31st the following year. Grammys recognized her during a short in memoriam segment. Her family felt she deserved more. Natalie's sisters, Timolin and Casey, spoke to ET Online. They said, "Words cannot express the outrage and utter disappointment at the disrespectful tribute, or lack thereof, to a legendary artist such as our sister. They believe that someone as talented and important as Natalie should have had a more meaningful tribute." Natalie was in the business for over 40 years with 21 Grammy nominations and 9 Grammy wins. Her son, Robert Adam Yancey, expressed his anger about the brief tribute. He said, "She deserves more than to be a part of a 1.5-minute tribute." Yancey called the short tribute shameless, especially when compared to the longer performances dedicated to other stars like David Bowie, Glenn Frey from the Eagles, and B.B. King. The family's disappointment reflects the love and pride they have for Natalie's achievements. They want the world to remember her not just for her hits, but for her impact on music and the joy she brought to so many people. Natalie was not just a singer. She was an artist who inspired many. The short tribute was part of a montage that included many artists who died in the previous year. While it is important to remember all of these artists, Natalie's family feels that she deserved more time and recognition. They believe that a brief mention does not do justice to her legacy and contributions to the music industry. Natalie made many memorable appearances in concerts and TV shows that showcased her talent. One of her notable performances was at the 1988 Nelson Mandela 70th birthday tribute. At this special event, she shared the stage with talented musicians like Richard Campbell, Jeffrey Worrell. It was a significant moment that connected music with a powerful cause, honoring the fight for freedom and equality. Natalie also took on a new challenge as the host of a TV show called Big Break.
151 points to stay in the running for Big Break Artist of the Year and that $100,000 in cash and prizes. Will she do it? Well, I can't tell you just yet. We'll find out when we come back.
This talent competition featured singers and musicians who competed for a grand prize of $100,000. It was a chance for new artists to showcase their skills and for viewers to enjoy great music. That same year, she teamed up with famous singer Al Jarreau to perform a song called Mr. President on a special show called Comic Relief. This program aimed to raise money for those in need, showing how music can make a difference. Natalie's connections in the music industry helped her grow. After Johnny Mathis appeared on her special, they kept in touch. In 1992, he invited her to join him in a TV special called A Tribute to Nat Cole for the BBC in England. This special honored her father, the legendary Nat King Cole. The show was a celebration of music and family, and it led to the release of an album with the same name. She attended WrestleMania 9, an exciting wrestling event held at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. She performed at the 65th Academy Awards, singing a medley of 2 songs from the movie The Bodyguard, both originally sung by Whitney Houston. These performances helped her gain recognition not just as a singer, but also as a performer who could captivate an audience. Natalie also made several guest appearances on popular TV shows. She acted in I'll Fly Away, Touched by an Angel, Law and Order, Special Victims Unit, and Grey's Anatomy. Her acting skills shine through in these roles, showing her versatility as an entertainer. She starred in the TV movie Lily in Winter and appeared in the film Dee Lovely, which was about the famous composer Cole Porter. In 2001, Natalie played herself in a movie called Livin' for Love, The Natalie Cole Story. This film told her life story and earned her the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Actress in a Television Movie. It was a proud moment in her career, highlighting her hard work and talent. Natalie's journey in music and acting continued throughout her life. She performed on the show Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip in 2007 and sang the national anthem with a chorus at Super Bowl 28. In 2013, she was a guest on a radio show hosted by Tina Sinatra, where she shared stories about her life and her famous father. Natalie Cole's legacy lives on in her music and her story of resilience and comeback.